And we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome to Brand Talk Live. Currently blasting some Loyal with Party Next Door and Drake from Party Next Door's new album, Party Mobile. That's a little intro song today. So, what we're basically going to be doing today is we're going to be covering generally 3 to 4 questions today. And yeah. All right, let's tune this out. All right, let's dive in. Cool, guys. Welcome. This is the second episode. The first one went really well, and I feel like every episode is just gonna keep getting better and better. So yeah, let's dive in. Let's dive in. Um, let's see. Let's pull up the first question. So we have the first question from Brandon. And he says, right now I'm in the process of writing my book. My biggest challenge is figuring out when I should begin going hard on social media and trying to build a following. If I should wait until I publish my book and build some credibility first, or start now. That's a really good question, Brandon. So it sounds like the main reason you want to build a book is because you're trying to build an audience. But usually, when you launch a book, to make that book go further, you usually want to have an audience behind it, because what's going to make that book truly make you credible is the fan base behind it that pushes it out and make sure that they buy it the day of release, that they pre-order it, so that essentially, when it comes to books, the more people that pre-order it on the back end, the much more likelihood it has a chances of becoming a bestseller. Usually bestsellers come in the form of rankings on Amazon. That's usually a great place to start, especially if you're self-publishing. If you're trying to get on that New York Times bestseller list, you either need two things, especially if you don't have an audience yet. One, you definitely really need a great agent. Actually, you need a great agent. You need a great book, a great end product. And once you have your end product, it's a matter of having some really good marketing behind you and some really good ad dollars behind you, so that you can reach as much people as possible. Um, so yeah, I hope that answers the first half of my answer, or your question. And this is the first half of my answer. The second half is, you want to in order to go about actually building that audience, if you don't have an audience yet, the first thing is collaboration. So you want to create a powerful story, because your story is going to give you the ability to get on podcasts, to get on other people's platforms. And the fastest way to grow, especially if you have this book coming out soon, is to get on as many platforms as possible. And because you don't have an audience, people won't necessarily be looking to bring you onto their platform to for marketing purposes, to help them build their platform. They're going to be bringing you onto their platform in order to engage their audience and almost get that exclusive on this powerful story that you would have, and you'd want to position in front of this book in order to take this book as far as possible. So essentially, really dial in the story of you. And essentially, because it sounds like this is going to be your first book, if I read that answer correctly, you definitely want a powerful story to push that book forward. Second thing you can do is set it up a funnel, set up an advertising campaign that allows you to push out to as many people as possible, with ad dollars. So you can do Facebook ads, you can do Instagram ads, you can do LinkedIn ads if you want. You can do YouTube ads. You could do Google ads. That's actually linked to YouTube. But yeah, definitely ad dollars. If you don't have an audience, that's going to push you forward. And yeah, so in terms of strategies, those are the top strategies I'd recommend. I'd highly recommend you essentially posting out videos every single day, and talking about content that's related to the contents of that book. If you want to start a podcast is a great way to build an audience. I would 100% recommend you go ahead and you start that podcast if you haven't already. Um, yeah, 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 yeah. I hope that answers your question, Brandon. Um, and I want to shout out the people joining in live. I appreciate you guys. So let's see. Let's see. Perfect. So I got the next question lined up. Just liaising with my boy Ivan here. Ah, cool. So, I got word that we can do some cool techie stuff on here. If you guys ever, if for the people tuning in, if you want to watch or sorry, if you want to hop on and ask a question, feel free to request to join in as well, and I'll get you linked in, and we can chat back and forth. Cool. So, next next question from Angela. Hey, what's going on, Angela? Um, how do I differentiate my brand from others? It's you. It's you. What's that quote? There's some quote, and it's like, there's only everybody else's take. Basically something along the lines of everybody else is taken, so the only thing worth being is you. What makes, especially when it comes to branding and building your personal brand, the value in building the personal brand is that people get to follow a human. People want to follow somebody, they want to follow the person, they want to follow the personality, because it's funny enough, like when people follow people online, especially people who offer some type of service, whatever it may be, they're following them because they like them. When people invest in you, it's not because you have the best service on the market, it's because they resonate with you, it's because they like it and trust you. And yeah, yeah. I'm just liaising with my boy Ivan here. Um, how can I get it to pop? It's actually not popping up on here. I can use maybe my phone to sort of see. All right, guys. So I'm gonna try to be a tech wizard here, and make sure that I can see exactly who's on here, so I can shout you guys out, say what's up. Just give me a second. Cool. Anyways, we're just gonna keep it moving. Shout out to the people on YouTube. Shout out to the people on Facebook. Can't forget Instagram. All right, let's dive in. Cool. So with Angela, so how to differentiate my brand. Hey, okay. Now I can see. Now I can see. So how to differentiate my brand. So again, it comes back to personality. It comes back to really expressing yourself. Because again, at the end of the day, when you're trying to build your brand, maybe because you have a service to provide, you have a product to sell, or you're purely just trying to build an audience and a following, so later down the line you can monetize in some way, shape, or form. The best thing to do is to be you. If you're funny with your friends on a social life, if that's sort of your archetype in a social setting, that's what you got to play on. If you're more of the person to sort of like stay quiet, and then when you feel need be, you drop in some wisdom. If you're that person in the group, be that person online. It's figuring out how you operate in a in-person social setting amongst your friends, or amongst acquaintances, and really bringing that version of you out online. Because yeah, the more you can be you, the more you can differentiate yourself, because there's a billion people out here, but what makes you you and what makes you different in this spot, in this place, is the personality you bring to the table. Because what you're going to find is a lot of people will relate with you based on your personality traits, based on your character, and that's what's going to be able to bring you to life. And a good way to sort of bring that out is obviously self-expression, communication style, etc. But the biggest part is storytelling. So it's figuring out, when I'm creating pieces of content, what stories can I tell in order to communicate this idea? And that that should be the recipe to the cake. And if you can entertain the people, if you can entertain and make people laugh, make people feel something, that's when you're really putting the icing on the cake and the cherry on the top. So that is my answer to your question. I hope um, and, um, let's see. What if you have a paradox personality? Arvin, what's going on, bro? What's going on? Paradox personality. To be honest, I'm not too sure what it is, but I'm gonna pull up Google. What's a paradox personality? When you have like different sides? Okay, that's a so I'm assuming Arvin, you mean like when you're an introvert and an extrovert, um, based on the knowledge Ivan just dropped on me. So that's actually a good question. Good- That's a good question because I'm 100% at times I'm an introvert, other times I'm an extrovert. Like even right now, this would be more of like my extrovert side, but sometimes I'm an introvert. Sometimes I'm like I get quiet and shy and I don't feel like talking. Um, or I just want to sort of like the energy is just different. The communication style is just different. So I feel like it's playing on the emotion and the energy you're feeling at the moment. Sometimes you're going to be maybe more of an introvert, maybe more of your quiet self, and maybe more of like, all right, I'm just going to drop wisdom and I'm going to be in this place. It's really because, and this is actually a really good question because a lot of people aren't black and white. You know, a lot of us are multi-dimensional. We have multiple different sides of us. And I think the more you can express those different sides, the more you give people the opportunity to fall in love with you and really get to know you. Because like right now this could be more of my extrovert mode, and I can again be in my introvert mode, but those are only two sides. Within my extrovert mode, I have different sides. I have the side where I'm funny. I have the side where sometimes I'm just like super hyper for no reason. I have the side where I'm like super like motivational and like trying to pump people up or pump myself up. There's different sides and intricacies within that. And same on the flip side when I'm in my introvert mode. Sometimes if I was in like my super introvert mode, I'm just gonna sit here and just look at you guys like this. Like, and that would be boring as hell, and you guys probably wouldn't watch. And I get it, I understand, I feel you, but within my other introvert sides, I have the side where I'm definitely much more. I just feel like dropping gold nuggets, and I'm not going to say anything until I really have something truly to say and something that might move you in some way, shape, or form. And so, for example, somebody can hop on here, and I'm not going to sort of like give like the rah rah energy and like jump around, whatever. I'm just going to give you a straight answer, and there's not going to be much fluff. It's just going to go straight to the point. And again, I think it's just leveraging whatever vibe you're in when you're showing up online or in your content. And again, brands just they're not just built online. It's also about how you're engaging and interacting with people in person. A brand is the memory and emotion you leave people with when they interact with you. So I think it's just leveraging and sort of deciding that, no matter what vibe I'm in, I'm going to play that role to the fullest and show people all the sides of me. So yeah, that's actually a really good question, Ivan. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you're good, bro. Who else we got here? What's going on, Mel? B, Donnelly. Um, yeah, yeah. I'm loving this, guys. I'm loving this. All right. So let's see. Who do we got up next? Okay. So next we have Marcus. Okay, Marcus. How do I deliver my message effectively on social media? Great question, Marcus. I'm just gonna slow it down here. I got my coffees. Give me a little bit too hybrid. So I'm gonna make sure I slow everything down so you guys can hear and fully take in everything I'm saying. So Marcus, okay. So delivering your message effectively. So Delivering your message effectively really comes down to three things. First thing, story. So people don't necessarily remember the golden nuggets in what you told them, but if you can package it into a form of a story, the brain is really good in capturing and remembering that story. Because let's look at everything that's passed on through generations, through thousands of years, 10 thousands of years. It's always been story. We're not going to remember the technology or whatever else was going there and how that medium of story was transferred over. But at the end of the day, the things that have stand the test of time have been stories. And those are the things that get passed down through our family, line, generations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's the things that are so easy for us to share with one another. It's the thing that connects us, and if you can package up all of your messages into an engaging story that can be memorable, that's easy to understand, and that also leaves people, just two things: shift somebody's perspective around something and leaves them with a feeling. You've done your job in communicating that message effectively. Yeah, yeah, I hope that helps, brother. And I'm gonna add a couple more things. Um, Definitely delivery. So making sure that that story is told with enthusiasm, with energy. I always say this: the when you're recording a video, let's say, or you're recording a podcast, or however you are, putting out your content, the energy you put into that is what people feel. So whatever input you're putting in is the output. People will feel it. So whatever I'm feeling right now as I'm recording this, if I'm super excited, naturally you're going to feel super excited, because that's just how humans interact. They're always mirroring each other. And so the enthusiasm, and again, if your personality type, you're not super excited, you're not super rah rah rah, like what however you're feeling in the moment, again, just play on whatever is authentic to you, and just try to express as much emotion in that storytelling as possible. I think that's the key here: emotion. And so once you have your story, once you have the emotion, then it's just a matter of making sure that you wrap up the story and pair that with the actual deeper message, the deeper lesson that shifts somebody's perspective. The more in your messaging, if you can shift somebody's perspective, change the way they see something, or have them say, huh, I never saw it like that before, or I never thought about it like that before. If you can do that for somebody, we call that creating a paradigm shift. If you can do that, you that alone, you are creating the most effective messaging that you can create. So I hope this helps. Let's keep it moving here. We got 7 more minutes. Let's see. That's cool. Let's see. All right, Vicky. Let's see. What should I be posting on which platforms and why? Great question, Vicky. I wonder the same thing sometimes. Um, yeah, that's a great question. So, number one, I'm gonna keep it simple. You want to be posting, first of all, I think there's phases. First, you want to be posting on the platform um, that has the most popular medium you're the best at creating. So, let's say, for example, you're a writer, you're not necessarily as good on video, or maybe you're not comfortable with podcasting yet. So that means you should probably be writing, post form articles, short form articles on Facebook, LinkedIn, shorter post on Instagram, and on Medium, essentially full blown articles. So it's really adapting and asking yourself, what's the best form of content I enjoy creating? If you love making videos, then 100% you got to make sure that you are on YouTube posting video, you are on Instagram posting video, you are on Facebook posting video. So 100%, I'd say the three core platforms you need to be on is Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And once you start there, once you start to get habitual in creating on those platforms, that's when you want to start redistributing and repurposing your content for different platforms. So, for example, let's say you have this great video on YouTube. From there, you want to get it transcribed, you want to get it rewritten, and then you want to get that posted on Medium, you want to get that posted on Facebook, you want to get that posted on Instagram, as written versions. So it's figuring out how you create the best. And let's say you create a great podcast, you want to get that transcribed, and you want to pull the best pieces of content from that podcast and repurpose them as maybe quotes on Twitter, and then screen capture that and put that on Instagram and on Facebook. Or you want to essentially capture those little pieces and create mini articles that you post on Facebook and Instagram under your post, Facebook, literally you don't even need a picture, you can just post it as is. But essentially how it's figuring out how you create best and leveraging the platforms that values that type of content creation the most, and starting there. And once you've built the habit of posting there, that's where you want to start experimenting and getting on other platforms. And again, if you can have a team in any way, shape, or form support you in that process, that can help. For example, take the post you've created, repurpose and distribute it to go on different platforms and creating other pieces of content. I'd highly recommend that. So that is the answer to today's questions. Yeah. What's up, Angelica? What's going on? Yeah. Yeah, guys, thank you for showing so much love and for showing up. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Again, we're doing this every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you have the time, if you can make the time, show up live, request to join in, send over any questions you guys want answered in future episodes. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to continuing these. This is the second episode down. We're going to be doing this for a very long time, especially during this COVID situation. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. Let me double check and make sure I'm not missing anything here. Let's see. Okay, perfect. If anybody has any final questions before I run here, there's about 3 more minutes. If anybody has any final questions, feel free to send any through. And again, if you can't think of anything right now on the spot, honestly, just drop me a DM, send in your message, and I'll make sure I get it featured in the next episode. Um, cool, cool. Perfect. And once you send in, if you drop me a DM, you can just send it straight to the DM. Let's see, Ivan. Ivan, it's hard for me to see that question. Could you? When's my next branding retreat? Great question, Donnelly. Great question. I think as soon as this COVID-19 situation cools down, this it's a very interesting situation, because because of this pandemic, a lot of our human behavior is changing. So there's a lot of things. I put up a story yesterday. Um, by a creative consultancy I follow. And it's just interesting because there's a lot of things that are going to change. I heard yesterday that Emirates is going to be one of the first airlines to open up, and they're going to have it where I think there's like 3 seats that are fully blocked off to create social distancing. And therefore, because they can have less people on a flights are going to naturally be much more expensive. So that's just like one of the ways of like this new normal we're coming back to. It's very interesting times. This is one of the reasons I even thought of creating a platform like this, because now everything is going virtual. A lot more people are going to be creating content, streaming events that would have been in person. Everything is going to be live in like a Zoom setting, or even a setting like this. So it's definitely very interesting times. So I'm curious to see and measure how exactly we adapt. I know there's projections and there's forecasts, but I kind of want to see things kick in by September and then decide, when that date in 2021 is going to be. But 100% the retreat is going to be in 2021, realistically around this May time next year. So yeah, yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. Thanks for showing love. Again, if you have any questions you want answered in a future episode, just drop me a DM. And yes. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, Instagram, for allowing me to create something like this. And cool. Cool. And again, if you guys ever want to just request to be on, just hit that request button in a future episode. And yeah, I will see you guys soon. Take care. Peace.